Thoughts are evil. All thoughts and words are evil. The words that make you feel good and the words that make you feel bad. Besides, there's no you to feel good or bad, right? And the words that make you feel bad are evil. Isn't that amazing? And human beings, because they identify with the world, are attached to words like not going off. I know what it means. I understand it. All of us, every human being, have to deal with that. Only a few will overcome it. They have to overcome you must be born again. And born again meaning waking up from the not you. The Christian Hoover the Holler sing about born again, and they have no clue of what they're talking about. They think it's just accepting Jesus, the idea of Jesus, right? They think that's it, and it's not working. I want to give you an example of how all thoughts are all lies, but how they drive you. They are look at the hell on earth. Don't you? There are people who are afraid of dying and going to hell. They're afraid of dying and going to hell. You already living. You're in hell. Look around you. Look at yourself. You're in hell within yourself, and you're living in hell physically. There's nothing around you but hell. In your family, in your jobs, in your business, in your so-called friendship, church, like everywhere, nothing but hell. Marriages, children, nothing but hell. All thoughts are all lies all the time. Nick made the point. People saying, I love you, my family. And in the next sentence, they're like, we hate you, or we hate each other, because it ain't love. Love is not a feeling. Love is not a feeling. To use the word love is just a word. Here's an example. Your thoughts are evil, folks, and they may. When I say all of us, me and you, every human being on earth, from the Pope to the dope. Ooh, that's cool. From the Pope to the dope, your thoughts are evil. And you're so identified with, they drive you crazy. And there's not one human being on earth that's not dealing with that. But most people don't know what it is, so they live in it. They live in their hell. And then there are those who overcome their hell. They're working on it. Here's an example of what thoughts can make you do. What I'm about to show you, this man didn't just come up with this idea on his own. He was influenced by his imagination. Bring every thought into captivity. He was influenced by his imagination, by thoughts. And maybe some outer source too, outer person, and they were influenced by their thoughts. Your thoughts are not you. Look what the thought made this guy do, according to the AP. The man who set himself on fire. Some of you heard by now, I guess, that there was a man who set himself on fire in front of the courthouse where Donald Trump is on trial. Well, that guy has died, according to the police. Watch this from AP. Watch this compilation.
A horrifying scene outside the Trump hush money trial today. A man set himself on fire.
He is about 50 feet away from me. He is now collapsed on the ground.
There is a man racing to his aid. There's coats coming off to try to put out the fire.
Stunned reporters who were live on air covering the Trump trial reacted in disbelief.
I can't see in any way how any human being can survive this.
Cops described him as obsessed with conspiracy theories.
I did 1,500 hours of research, and I learned all their rotten secrets. The big one is that cryptocurrency is history's first planetary, multi-trillion-dollar Ponzi scheme. That's an economic doomsday device. And when that Ponzi goes insolvent, as all Ponzis must, we'll get the worst economic collapse in world history. And every powerful person you can think of is in on it.
Start a revolution, you've got nothing to lose.
Amazing. Well, Satan owned that one now, eternity. No way out now. He's gone. He did. But that's possession. That's an extreme example of it. That wasn't him. Something else was driving him. Just like something else drives you to hate your fellow man, to hate yourself, to consider suicide, to feel lonely, to feel sad, to look for love, to think a family is the answer, to think I got to get a husband or a wife. That's the same spirit that's driving you. To think you don't have enough money, to think you have too much money, to think you're better than someone else, to think that you should be jealous and envy of your fellow man, to go after your fellow man. That's the same spirit that's driving that guy. Drove that guy right into the arms of hell. According to the report, the guy set himself on fire. What did that solve? Zero. What does it solve for you to hate yourself? Nothing. And yet every human being resent themselves. There's not one that loves themselves. It is mind-blowing. Though I understand it now. I didn't understand it before, but I do understand it now. Well, you know, they've been talking about a Ukraine bill. They finally got it passed, I guess. According to the AP, the House has approved $95 billion in foreign aid for Ukraine. $95 billion. But with that kind of money, you can build 8 walls around the borders. You can build a wall so high, it can go up to Jesus. It can reach the skies of heaven. But not one dime, not one penny on the American border. The House has approved $95 billion in foreign aid for Ukraine. Israel and other U.S. allies, as Democrats and Republicans band together after months of resistance over renewed support for repelling Russian invasion. They even have a wall around Israel. I've been to Israel. They have a wall, a beautiful wall to keep everybody else out. But not for America. Watch this compilation.
The holdup was the funding for Ukraine, which the White House says is crucial to help that country repel the ongoing Russian invasion.
Most of the military experts that I have spoken to believe that Ukraine will be able to hold that line.
It's an issue that's further divided a fractured Republican Party, with more GOP members voting against Ukraine aid than for it.
Nothing is done to secure our border or reduce our debt.
That could cost Speaker Mike Johnson, with Marjorie Taylor Greene and 2 others, including Kentucky's Thomas Massey, threatening to try and oust him.
Do you have a timeline on when you would like to?
We'd like him to resign today.
I have to do my job. We did. I've done here what I believe to be the right thing, and let the chips fall where they may.
Amazing. How about doing the right thing for America? Push that hard, fight hard like that to get the funding for our borders. And then you would have done your job. Doing your job for Ukraine is not doing your job. And why don't you know that Israel have a beautiful wall to keep everybody out, to protect the Israeli citizens? Why don't you do the same? They have set an example for you. Then you would have done your job. Here is more from Mike Johnson. AP is reporting that Speaker Mike Johnson said, "We did our work. We did our work here, and I think history will judge it well." Watch this from Fox.
These are not normal times. They're not. The world is destabilized, and it's a tinderbox. It's a dangerous time. 3 of our primary adversaries, Russia and Iran and China, are working together, and they're being aggressors around the globe. If we turn our backs right now, the consequences could be devastating. It provides for greater accountability over Ukraine aid. It forces an endgame strategy for the Ukraine war. It includes a loan instrument of this foreign aid to Ukraine and the Repo Act to ensure that Russian assets pay for part of the bill. I will note, because it's very important, also includes national security priorities in many of them, but it is the only way that we could have gotten Democrats to support aid to Israel, and that's a fact. Said it very simply, I'll say it once again, it's an old military adage, but we would rather send bullets to the conflict overseas than our own boys, our troops.
How about home? How about home? How about sending money to America before you send it to Ukraine or Israel, anywhere? How about taking care of home first? Why are those countries so important? I don't care. Take care of home first, and then whatever little change we have left over, send it to them. But you can't. He wants to sound all important. How about home? Why is overseas life more important than home life? And see, these people don't have to worry about it because they live behind gated fences. Mike Johnson and others, they don't have to worry. They're being fine. They're guarded by police, security, FBI, or whatever. But how about us? And then you hold a press conference and think, oh, they're going to accept this. If it wasn't for the great white hope running for the Republican Party, I would not vote, period, for the Republican Party. It's a waste of vote for them. A waste of time going down to the poll. You're going to get the same thing over and over again. Nothing. Zero. AP has reported that many Democrats cheered on the House floor and waved blue and yellow flags of Ukraine. Watch this from X and C-SPAN. In the United States, waving somebody else's flag in our government.
Some say, well, we have to deal with our border first. The Ukrainian-Russian border is our border.
That's a lie.
It's the border between depraved autocracy and freedom-loving people seeking our democratic way of life.
That's a lie.
Do we have a stake in that outcome? Yes. Undeniably, yes.
See, I told you, family don't love one another. They don't care about us. We're the family. We're all American, right? But Ukraine is more important than anything. And they're waving the Ukraine flag in our government. I didn't see one American flag. Our government is now working for foreign countries, not for America. They're not working for you. Where are the police? They're not working for you. They're working for foreign countries. And here's another fake outrage from Fox. This person on Fox. Watch this.
A $95 billion foreign aid package is headed to the Senate floor after passing in the House overnight. The bill includes more than $60 billion for Ukraine, $26 billion for Israel, but there's Gaza money in there too, and $8.1 billion for the Indo-Pacific region.
Nothing for
Of
America.
note, nothing for our southern border.
Right.
Yeah. Do I want to help Israel? Absolutely. Do I want to help Ukraine? Yes. Do I want to push back against Russia and China and other nefarious forces? Absolutely. But our number one priority, if you put it on my table, I look at that and say is protecting the southern border of the United States of America. Now, the only reason that doesn't happen is because Democrats said no.
And the Republican voted with the Democrats. You were created to wake up. You were created to overcome. You were created to overcome the world. To become the light of the world, salt of the earth. You were not created to live in your hell. But if you want to stay in your hell, in the darkness, you can. Jesus, God and Jesus just not, they're not going to be concerned about that at all. They've done what they can do. But I told you that in today's America, and maybe around the world, but in today's America, human beings hate one another so bad that they're starting to pretend that they love animals. And they're in an animal state of mind, And they truly think the animals are loving them back. And they don't love the animals, and animals definitely don't love them. But that hate feels like love. And so when they get those love feelings, which is hate, and the dog act like them, like he care that they love him, they think they have a loving dog and they're loving people. They're a liar. They're haters. And talk about protecting the animals and human beings being in a animal state of mind. Watch this from X.
Look at sheets.
For those who can't see it, the male is walking in the rain. A male is walking in the rain. He has an umbrella over the dog, protecting the dog from the rain, and has no umbrella over himself. That's a fallen nature. That's an evil nature. And he feels good about it. Feel good about it. I'm telling you, human nature is evil. Every human nature, all human nature, there's not one that's good. No such thing as human nature being good. It can't be. It doesn't matter if it's family members or whomever. Human nature is evil. I want to show you another example of human beings acting like animals. This is the New York Post. A man who calls himself a trophy husband has revealed that not only does he have 3 wives, but he doesn't work. When the Polyamorous family appeared on Seeking Sister's Wife last year, they welcomed 22-year-old Danielle into their family. Watch this from TLC.
I am a stay-at-home dad. In our household, the women are the breadwinners. That's the way we run things here. That's the way we like it to be structured.
Nick is a trophy husband, if you will.
We prefer it that way, honestly. Like, I would go crazy if I was at the house all the time.
Current sleeping arrangements at home is that we all share one bed.
Morning. Just getting up here. Part of that is because of space. I mean, we have the smallest house ever right now. We had to work it out the way we worked out, and it ended up working out in a way that we prefer.
Not one of us spends a night without Nick, because it's very special to be able to, sleep next to the one you love, for sure.
I like to be snuggled up in the middle. It's a nice spot for me. So it's okay.
Nick has been a part of my son William's life since he was 6 months old, and he has been a great father to him.
I love that boy.
By staying home and being a trophy husband without a job, right? Amazing. Amazing. That's animal nature. Human nature is evil. Human beings are evil and dirty and nasty and have no love. And I want to give you, and then I'll take your calls and your super chats. I want to give you a real, this is like, those what I just showed you, evil too, this one take the cake. This is like evil on top of evil. This is like, you should be scared for this female to be your mother, your sister, your female cousin, your wife, your grandma, or any part of your family. You should not want this evil one in your family. And for those who have not been paying attention to the Great White Hope and how he deals with the issues of life so far, he have dealt with and is dealing with the issues that come after him, you're crazy for not watching. Without judgment, but watching. So far, I don't know what the end gonna bring, and I'm not concerned about the end. I'm waiting to see. But Donald Trump has been a perfect, so far, a perfect example of Jesus Christ on earth. He's dealing with evil human beings. And it's interesting to see that the people who don't know if it's guilty or not, has taken the side of the evil court system, justice system, and instead of waiting to see what's up with them, they've already judged Donald Trump. They don't know him. They don't know if it's true or not, but they have already decided that's evil. You're not supposed to take sides. But I want to show you what evil looked like in a big way, because every human being is dealing with evil inside themselves, in their imagination and emotion, inside their body, and outside themselves, inside of others. But Donald Trump has been and is, so far, a living example of how to deal with evil. Remember that black female, Letitia James? She was celebrating Donald Trump being in court and had put his bail bond way out of control. And then Donald Trump got it down to $175 million. And she was like, all celebrating. She was going to be marching over to his hotel, putting a chain and a lock around the door, and Donald Trump can't get in. She was celebrating. And then she got egg in her face. And she went away for a minute. But according to the report, it looked like she just went away to try to scheme up something else to stop the great white hope. Woe unto the human being who try to get revenge or celebrate someone else's pain. Really, you have no idea what you're doing to yourself. Well, this evil female has went back down into hell, consulting with Satan, calling him God. What can I do? I can't stop this man. I thought I had him. I sat up in court every day at the end of the seat, first seat on the row with a big smile. And I wasn't able to stop him. What can I do, Satan? And according to the Citizen Free Press, Letitia James asked the judge to disallow Trump's $175 million bond. Why? Right? Why? Except for revenge. So Letitia James asked the judge to disallow Trump's $175 million bond. There will be a hearing on Monday. Watch this compilation.
The President of the United States has complained that I'm engaging in some sort of political witch hunt, that
You
I've had
are.
some personal vendetta against him, that I campaigned against him. That is not true.
Illegitimate president who sits in the White House. That president, because he's not my president, he's an illegitimate president. His days are numbered. His days are numbered. We've got to get ready to mobilize, and we've got to get ready to agitate and irritate until victory is won, but more importantly, until Trump is defeated. We will all rise up and resist this man, and ultimately we'll bring him down. This illegitimate president, I'm going to give you the same level of respect that you gave to President Obama, and that is absolutely no respect at all. Donald Trump has got to go. Hey, hey! Ho, ho! Donald Trump has got to go. Hey, hey! Ho, ho!
That is not true.
So don't believe what you see, right? That's evil. And I have to promise you, that kind of spirit has been passed down to every black male and black woman on this earth. It's not about racism. It's not about sexism. It's not about white supremacism or anti-Semitism or homophobism or deadbeat dadism. It's that spirit of evil. And I want to encourage the blacks. You got to take a look at that anger you have. It's not of love. And see how it will pass down to you from your mothers or grandmothers or both. And forgive them so you can wake up. And forgive your father for not protecting you from that. He couldn't handle that. His mother was just like that. She rebuilt him, remade him in her image. It ain't about white people, it's about that. Grandpa, tell me about the good old days. The world gone crazy. You know, watching these protests that are happening now around my country, and how the Palestinian supporters are fighting with the Jewish supporters and the Jewish students on campuses. And it's very interesting to see it, because I realize that I guarantee you, if you can talk to the students that are out there protesting and carrying on, I guarantee you they have no idea what it's all about. They really don't know the depths of why they're doing it. It's just that they've been brainwashed by the teachers at these universities and others, faculties and everything, to hate one another. And then they've been brainwashed because they need to be angry in order to use them to gain personal whatever it is you want. And these people who are controlling these students, they want money and power. And these students, they have no idea who is organizing them, why they're showing up, or what they're doing. I promise you that. They have no clue. Now, if you ask them in the media, they'll say what they've been told to say. But they don't know what they're talking about. They're being controlled. And I'm stunned to see the professors, so-called professors, the teachers at the university, out protesting too, because they're revealing that they're teaching hatred. They're teaching human beings to hate one another for personal gain. And none of those students on either side, the Jewish side or the Palestinian side, they have never been offended by a Jew or a Palestinian. They're only doing what somebody is telling them to do. Who is organizing this? And how do they know to show up at certain places? And where are they getting the money and the time to show up and protest like this? Somebody paying it, somebody paying for it, somebody providing transportation, somebody providing the flags and the signs that they're carrying. Somebody's doing it. Who? And whomever is doing that, they're controlling these students for personal gain. What a sad way to live. But I understand it. Human beings have refused to be in control of their own lives. All that money they pay for so-called higher learning, they still gonna have to pay the bill back, I guess, unless Joe Biden and the Democratic Party paid off their bill, their student loan. And a lot of you ask, what's the matter with the children? It's not the children per se, but they've been brainwashed. They are not in control of their own lives. And I have to tell you, get ready for it. It's going to be a bumpy ride. It's going to be a long, hot summer. So get ready. This election coming up in November, it is, I hear the word most important one, but they say that every year. But this one is a desperate one, because the children of the lie, the last thing they want to see is America get better. They don't want to see you thinking and doing for yourself. They don't want to see you free. They don't want to see you buying your own gas and food, and they want to control you, folks. It's a battle between good and evil. It's a warfare. You better wake up. We don't better wake up. Stay in your hell. Live in your hell. But I would advise you to wake up. But stay in your hell if you want to. No sweat off my back. And I know that human nature is evil to the core. Human beings are evil. Anyone that has anger is evil. So most people love their hell. They love their misery. And they roam the earth, including inside their own family and everywhere, to try to find someone to inflict their hell upon so they can feel like they have life. So I understand that. So it's up to you. Newsweek has reported video showing students protesting forming a human change against people that they say are Zionists have gone viral. Watch this from X.
Attention, everyone. Can I get everyone to form a human chain right here, please? We have Zionists that have entered. Mic check! Mic check! Repeat after me. Repeat after me. We have Zionists. We have Zionists who have entered the camp. Who have entered the camp. We are going to create a human chain. We are going to create a human chain. Where I am standing. Where I am standing. So that they do not pass this point. They do not pass this point. And infringe upon our privacy. Walk and take a step forward.
Yeah, I absolutely feel threatened right now.
So that we can. Start to push them. Out of the camp. Out of the camp. One step forward. One step forward. Another step forward. Another step forward.
That's so silly, but that's so evil. Those are people who cannot think for themselves. Those are groupies. Those are not individuals. And all their lives, they've been trained to be groupies. They would be no good to America, ever. Unless they change, they would be no good to America. That's dumb to stand there and chat that and do that. Some dumb person tell you, what for? There's a change we're going to put around the building. What for? And what for? That's dumb. Those are brainwashed people who cannot think for themselves. And those are the average people in America and around the world. Most people cannot think for themselves. Somebody, for whatever reason, is jealous and envious, and they want to destroy Christianity and Judaism. And this has been coming on for a while. And the same people that want to destroy Judaism and Christianity are the same people that want to destroy America and Israel. They want to destroy the rest of the world, especially because Christianity is the best religion on this side of heaven. They know it, and they want to get rid of it, and they think by getting rid of anybody that's white, they're going to get rid of Christianity. That's not going to work. You're never going to be able to get rid of Christianity because Christianity goes beyond just a person. It's a spirit. And one or two people started to wake up. And as one or two people waking up, the spirit of the Father, of God, is being alive. You can't stop that. And white people, y'all need to wake up. They see you as Christians, and they blame you for Christianity. They want to wipe out the Western world because it represents Christianity. It represents Christianity. And Christianity is the only religion that says you must be born again. You must change your heart from anger to love. And somebody is pushing hatred, and the young people falling for it. May God have mercy on my country. Those kids, they're not free thinkers, just as most adults are not free thinkers. They're groupers. They think like the crowd. They cannot stand alone. This is evil. This is evil. There is never, ever, 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 but ever, never, 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 ever a reason to be angry. But angry people push in anger because it's evil. They are children of the lie. According to the New York Post, anti-Israel protesters armed with flares, marched toward NYPD headquarters late Monday night after the number of students arrested at an NYU reportedly rose to over 150. I never imagined, I understand now. I'm saying these things, but now I understand. But I never thought you could hear people saying death to America, in America. Now, I heard it outside America, but inside America, I've not heard that before. And I didn't think that someone can come from a foreign land that hated us and take our money, food, free stuff, and then they said death to America. I never imagined to see foreigners in our government against America. If ever we needed you, Lord, we need you now. Citizen Free Press is reporting faculty members at Bernard marched to call for no suspension for anti-Israel protesters. Watch this from X.
No suspensions! Now! No suspensions! Now! No suspensions! Now!
Wow. Now they're going to tell you whether you can suspend them or not. Walk out of the classroom, no consequences. This is not pretty. And according to The Guardian, a huge crowd of faculty members who teach at Columbia University held a mass walkout on Monday afternoon. So if you are a teacher at a university, aren't you there to teach everybody, all the students that's in your class? How is it that you can let it be known you hate one group over another group? It reminds me of the black so-called teachers. Let it be known they like the black students better than they do the white students. How will you be able to teach like that? Aren't you supposed to be there to educate, read and write arithmetic? How will you do it if you're now letting it be known, I hate you because you're a Jew, but I love you because you're a Palestinian or support Palestine? And will the parents continue to pay all that money knowing that you have a teacher who hates your child? And according to The Guardian, scores of students were also suspended, including the daughter of the Minnesota Democratic Representative Ilhan Omar. Watch this from MSNBC.
Among those arrested was Isra Hirsi, daughter of Minnesota Congresswoman Ilhan Omar. She had been suspended from neighboring Barnard College and was protesting at Columbia. Congresswoman Omar posted on X that she was proud of her daughter and, quote, stepping up to change what you can't tolerate is why we as a country have the right to speech, assembly, and petition enshrined in our Constitution.
Yeah, I guess I was suspended Thursday morning at 10 a.m. with two other fellow Barnard students. The email stated that we had engaged in disruptive behavior, but had not outlined the code of conducts that we had violated. The three of us were the only three that had done public interviews at that point. And so we think that our targeting or the reason we got suspended so early was due to the fact that we had made ourselves known. And then that the school got NYPD records to be able to arrest the rest of the students. How I'm feeling about it, however, I think a little bit like this was expected. We all knew that we knew the risks and we knew what we were engaging in. However, I wasn't really expecting to be immediately locked out of my dorm, of dining, of campus as quickly as I was.
Amazing. I want you to smoke on this one. Ilhan Omar, according to the report, was a refugee in another country. A refugee. She couldn't be doing all this mess over there in Allahu Akbar country. She was a refugee. They brought her into our country, the Western world, where Christianity rules, or supposed to. A foreigner, Allahu Akbar foreigner. And they let her in government with the Allahu Akbar mindset. The people in Chicago are ticked. They are angry like 90 Gordon Knows. And the reason they're mad is because, according to Forbes, Chicago citizens speak out at a city council meeting about a proposal to spend $70 million more on migrants. $70 million. Watch this from Fox.
Now, to align yourself with somebody who's obviously a one-term mayor, if he even makes it that far, you better be worrying about your job. You better be worrying about your longevity. Because we're going to vote, and we're going to get you out. Because you ain't doing right by us. That's what time it is.
Does you want to know the time? That's what time it is. You're going to be voted out, and the mayor of Chicago is black. He black. But I've been trying to tell the blacks for years now, your black representatives don't care about you. They're about themselves. All egos cares about self. So I want everybody, just for 1 minute, pay attention to this particular video, and I want to know, what will you do? This is from Wide Awake Media. On X, Beta Male, and I'm reading it as they have it here. I'm not calling this guy Beta Male at this point. Beta Male watches a girl getting robbed right in front of him and does absolutely nothing to help her. Watch this from X.
It was just before 3 in the 5600 block of South University. Maddie says a confrontation happened and the suspect demanded her phone before flashing the gun. The pair got into a tussle.
I was grabbing for maybe my phone, maybe the gun. It's really like a blackout moment for me. And I realized that I was able to grab the magazine out of the gun.
The loaded magazine, now in police custody, Maddie says, and she hopes it will help solve the crime. Just minutes after that ordeal sent people in the area scrambling to safety. Another armed robbery involving 2 suspects with handguns reported in the 1300 block of East 56th Street. That crime under investigation by the Chicago Police Department.
I couldn't necessarily really register the threat ahead of me, so definitely wouldn't advocate for fighting back. Losing a life over a phone is definitely not worth it.
Amazing. So the guy sitting there in the little park area, right there, looking at the guy getting robbed, according to the story, of her phone. The guy had a gun. He flashed a gun, according to the report, and the guy did nothing to help her. And you say, Joel?
Well, my thing is, for one, it depends on the context.
Was he a beta?
Well, you can't. It's hard to tell. I can't say because it depends on what happened before in the context. And for me, secondly, what can he really do though? Like, if the guy has a gun, like, are we all gonna die? What can he really do? But what did she do is the context for me. So I just would need a little bit more.
Was he a beta?
I can't tell. I don't know. but let's just say that he didn't know the girl and he was seeing that random.
Oh, he didn't know her. It didn't seem like he knew her. The guy that was sitting there in the little park watching.
Right. Let's say she didn't do anything beforehand. He just seen this at random. Is that what we're doing?
That was random.
Okay, then is he a beta?
It appeared to be random.
No,
he's just sitting there in the park doing his thing, whatever that is. And then this happened. The girl walking by, the guy walked up, trying to rob her of her phone, according to the story.
No, I don't think he's beta.
You don't think he's beta?
What is he supposed to do?
What am I supposed to do with the best part of me was always you? You say Hake?
Stay out of Chicago.
That was in Chicago?
Yeah, I gathered that it was in Chicago. She mentioned Chicago toward the end.
Oh, okay.
I want to hear him talk. I want to hear his take.
He's probably still running.
So this man is just sitting there in like this, it looked like AstroTurf yard.
Right.
And
It looked like a little play park.
5 or 10 yards
where
away.
Hassan might be walking his dog.
5 or 10 yards, and he's just sitting there with his knees up, maybe looking at his phone or something. And like 5 or 10 yards away, maybe, this gal, white gal, young lady, is getting accosted by this black tall guy wearing a hood, and I guess he had a gun. And that was a long magazine, by the way.
How was she able to take the gun away from her, or the bullets?
She was grabbing at something, and maybe that thing wasn't fastened well, because that was a long magazine.
Right.
That was maybe an extended magazine.
She was able to grab that.
Yeah.
Oh, see,
She pulled that out.
Sorry, black guy.
It would. I know.
But there could have still been around in the chamber.
What kind of robbing he doing? He gonna let a girl grab it?
Matter of fact, that the guy sitting down, he was like, "You got it."
Yeah, you gonna be fine, girl. You got this one.
You see another person like run away and hide behind like cars.
Yeah.
And run away, and then later, like
the
after
white girl on her own,
after the incident is pretty much over, almost over, because the black guy kind of comes back. The guy's like jogs away a little bit, gets up, and like you think that he might do something. Oh nope, jogging away. He looked a little beta, but that's still smart. That's a live beta is better than a dead beta. I'll tell you that much.
So was he a beta?
Yes, but I endorse it. I avow it. I do not disavow that beta.
Nick, did you see it?
I did.
Oh, you saw it?
Did they interview him?
What'd you say?
Let's replay it just for...
I saw the part, but the only part I missed, but I caught up now that you mentioned it. So
no, I want you to see the whole thing. Replay it, Hassan. This is from Wide Awake. Wide Awake. Wide Awake Media. Wide Awake. On X. Beta male watches a girl getting robbed right in front of him and does absolutely nothing to help her.
Call him that. Okay, go.
Yeah, they call him Beta in the article.
Well, it's a tweet. It's a post on X.
In his tweet. In a post or whatever. Okay.
It was just before 3 in the 5600 block of South University. Maddie says a confrontation happened and the suspect demanded her phone before flashing the gun. The pair got into a tussle.
I was grabbing
he just watching,
maybe
like
my
watching
phone, maybe the gun. It's really like a blackout moment for me. And I realized that I was able to grab the magazine out of the gun.
The loaded magazine now in police custody, Maddie says, and she hopes it will help solve the crime. Just minutes after that ordeal sent people in the area scrambling to safety. Another armed robbery involving 2 suspects with handguns reported in the 1300 block of East 56th Street. That crime under investigation by the Chicago Police Department.
I couldn't necessarily really register the threat ahead of me, so definitely wouldn't advocate for fighting back. Losing a life over a phone is definitely not worth it.
He kind of jogged away, but looked like he was still on his phone.
Yeah, and then he started walking after like 3 steps.
Right, like he forgot about the whole incident. It just happened along the way. So
you didn't know if it was a boyfriend-girlfriend situation, a white girl dating a black guy.
That kind of matters.
That's a good point. I hadn't thought about it that way. Anchor Baby's here. He's the host of the Anchor Baby Show here on the network at 12 noon, Monday through Thursday, then 4 p.m. on Friday, Pacific time. Anchor Baby, you say.
Thank you. I say not beta. I like James saying that he could still be a beta, but that wasn't beta. But I'm saying not beta. You know, I didn't know that she took the magazine. I heard that. I'm thinking, God's got her. God's got her.
But there could be a round in the chamber if he racked it.
She's doing
right.
She's just fine. But
that's a good point. She'll have a bullet in there.
Yeah.
But
it seemed like she was winning.
People call things brave that's not brave.
Yeah, she didn't know what she was doing.
Say again?
She didn't know what she was doing. She said she didn't really comprehend the danger that she was in.
God's got her. So I'm walking away. I'm saving my life.
That's right. Leave it up to God. You better pray.
I'm messing around, but at the same time, I feel like
you got to pray just to make it today.
So this guy was sitting on his butt. He had his knees up and he had his arms like linked together underneath
like he was
his
trying
knees.
to hide his phone.
Yeah, he was like holding. He had his arms underneath his legs.
I would have stood there probably.
That's what I was thinking.
I would have been like, what?
Be like, maybe I should call the cops or something. Oh, wait, miss, are you... You're good, right? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that would have been a beta-ness that would have come out of me.
So if a black guy, and I think he was black, right?
I don't know.
He looked like he had a mask. I couldn't really tell.
Yeah, it looked like it.
If a black guy was attacking a white girl with a gun, you gonna do something about it? Uncle baby?
No, I'm saying that's its own form of inaction out of like, I should do something because society says I should. That's a woman who's being attacked, right? But the guy has a gun. What am I really doing?
Put him in a chokehold.
Right. If I'm gonna do
if
that,
you're
then
be a
it's like,
Marine, be that Marine that got charged with murder.
The Marine would already be doing that.
Is he locked up?
I forget where.
We don't even talk
what's the
about him
situation
anymore.
with him. The guy on the subway.
Poor guy.
Yeah.
The Marine guy would have already done that. You know what I mean? He would have already taken.
And gotten in trouble for it.
Beta or alpha male?
Or died over it or whatever.
Hey, come here. Beta or alpha
I
male?
say not beta. No.
Not beta.
I'm not saying alpha, but not beta. I'm not calling him an alpha male.
You ran.
Beta for being on his phone.
That's why I'm not calling him an alpha male.
When you say Sean, beta or alpha?
What, you mean Hassan?
I mean Hassan.
Well, this
Sean is telling me in my ear, my producer telling me he should have stepped in. He got a head blown off.
Dang.
He didn't say that part.
I've actually experienced this situation. I was a kid with my dad, and someone was getting mugged at an ATM, and my dad just said, "Keep walking, keep walking." so I've kind of been conditioned to mind my own business.
I remember seeing when I was in high school.
Sean, come here. Go ahead.
When I was in high school, I remember riding in the back of my dad's car, and we witnessed this whole mob of gang members punch a white Hispanic in the face, and there was another white guy with him, or white Hispanic with him. It was like, calm down. And then my dad just started honking the horn a lot, and they all scattered.
Oh, yeah?
And the guy had a bloody face like he'd been hit with a pipe.
Whoa.
The guy whom they hit in the face.
And
my dad's all, we saw that. We can be witnesses. But the guy's like, no, just forget about it.
Your father said that? Did he tell you guys to lay down on the floor of the car?
No.
Sean, you said, go ahead, Joel.
Well, as Sean's coming in right now.
Yeah, Sean coming in. Go ahead.
I was thinking that it also depends on what the moment calls for. Maybe that guy, the moment didn't call for that guy to do anything. Maybe you're just like, okay, this doesn't even seem like a major threat. But sometimes the moment you have to wait to see what you would do, because you might end up trying to help if it makes sense, but sometimes you might just be like,
what kind of sense is going to make somebody with a gun?
Well, maybe you can save a life.
And what you did, that guy ain't going to think about you no more.
Okay, well, what if it happens? Zenny said, answer this one. Zenny says, what are these guys going to do when someone crazy tries to stab Jesse at church service? We're going to be like, Jesse got it.
Who said that?
Zenny.
Y'all better protect me at church.
Oh,
those
why
words,
not? I don't know. You look like you got it.
I'm up there trying to preach.
I just about Zenny.
I just about Jenny. Zenny. Sean, you say? This is my producer, one of the experts here on the show, and the host for me this morning. Guest host for an hour, first hour. You say?
I mean, if that guy had the ability to do something, he should have done it.
Yeah, lean in a little bit more. Okay. He should have done it? What do you mean?
If he had the ability to do that and help her, he should have helped her.
Why?
Because if we can't protect, the vulnerable people in society.
Who is vulnerable?
Like if that was a kid, if that was a grown man and and there was a kid walking out, like a 11-year-old kid walking down the block, and the guy just started beating up the kid, you're not just going to sit there and watch the kid get pummeled.
But who were the vulnerable person in that situation?
The young woman who was clearly outmatched.
No.
Well, actually, clearly not, because she took the magazine.
She took the magazine. Plus, they said women are equal to men anyway. Why not let that ride?
I don't know.
She wanted that education.
I know. What?
I don't know if she thinks that.
I bet she does. She's in college.
Yeah, she's in college in Chicago, Chi-Town. Stay away from Chirac.
Alpha male.
I've been in a situation like this.
What do you mean?
In New York City, I was walking down the street, and two guys got in a fight, and one was homeless, one was like a regular working class guy, and he pulled the homeless guy into the middle of the crosswalk and got on top of him and started pummeling him, like throwing punches. He was going to kill him. And I walked over and I threw the guy off of the homeless guy and just walked away and just forgot about it.
Sean is Batman, really.
Looking back,
He's from Gotham.
looking back, obviously, if
Where you going? Go ahead. Looking back, what?
Looking back, obviously, if the guy who I pulled off of him had a knife and turned it on me,
Yeah.
and I died, I would have
Oh,
regretted it.
that just reminded me
River
of a story,
situation.
too. That reminded me of a story, if I can say real quick. I did the same thing one time, and I just remembered.
Oh, Lord.
So,
Everybody's
no,
up,
but it
baby.
didn't work out in my favor.
Everybody's up, baby. Jessica's dad. I
It
had
did
an
not-
experience like this.
It did the opposite effect, though, as Sean know, because I was in a club one time, and I was with all my friends, and there was this girl who was like, like her and a little group of friends, and this really like drunk guy walks up to the girl and is like being drunk and trying to talk to her. And then I'm thinking like, he's being kind of aggressive. And then he like starts pushing her a little bit. And then she's kind of like, get away from me. And she pushes him and he gets more aggressive. For whatever reason, I thought that I should step in and be the... And I stepped in and I pushed him hard, right?
Whoa.
And I pushed him like back. And at this point, he's coming at me because he's about to swing. So right before he's about to swing, I try to swing, but it doesn't get out because my friend stopped it. But anyways, long story short, security guards grab me, choke me out. This is on the the 4th floor, I think. Security guard choked me out, and squeezing so tight I can't breathe, drags me down 4 flights of stairs, passing through a crowded space, and I can't breathe. I'm telling the girl, I can't breathe. I get all the way to the bottom. He throws me out, and the guy ends up staying in the club.
Whoa.
So, sometimes
You got what you deserve.
Sometimes you shouldn't step in.
I'm telling you. What the? And that girl went over and went home with that guy later.
But
I disavow.
That's why we got to be
I
in the
disavow.
moment.
I don't know that.
You never know.
So, Sean, beta or alpha?
Oh,
For this
beta.
particular...
Beta.
Beta.
Certain situations it's right, certain situations it's wrong.
Yeah, I agree
that
with that.
particular one, from what I could tell, he's not a small guy, the guy who ran away. He's not a puny little guy.
I say that ain't no way in heaven or hell I would have done anything. In today's society. First of all, the guy had a gun. Secondly, ain't no police coming. The police won't even, if that girl had been shot, the police would not show up. And why would I put my life on the line? Nobody, you can't do it. Look what happened to the guy in New York, as James mentioned. What's his name?
Daniel Penny.
Say his name.
Daniel Penny.
Daniel Penny. We don't even hear about that guy. All he was trying to do is help. But nowadays, if you try to help, you become the criminal. And that guy had a gun. And I don't blame that guy. I wouldn't have done anything. Sorry.
I think I think you're right though in some cases. But
Yeah.
I think in some cases it's
in this
it's different.
particular one, looked like the guy did the right thing. Alpha male.
I agree.
It just depends.
I agree.
Well, and why?
Because even if he is betas live to see another day.
That's right.
You know what I mean?
But just see, this guy had a gun, and he seemed like he was a big guy, tall, and then as one of you said, you didn't really know what the situation was. Could have
Right.
been a boyfriend-girlfriend fight,
Right.
and then he would have gotten choked out and
right,
pushed down the
dragged
stairs.
And she would have went home.
Domestic
with him later that
violence.
night.
Right.
Domestic violence calls.
She would have got mad at the guy. Why are you jumping in this between me and my boyfriend?
The most dangerous situations for cops to enter in, I hear, is domestic violence calls.
Yes.
My friend got shot and killed, and his partner got shot and killed
I
in a
remember
domestic
you
violence
I
call.
heard that
Talking
over and
about
over
that.
again. I heard you mention that. You're right.
Yeah.
So, alpha. Sorry, Sean. I hate to disagree with my producer. Alpha male.
What if he's the alpha and a beta?
You can't be both. Either one or the other. Where does this idea come from that men should protect women when they get beat? Because when I was growing up, I never heard that before.
It depends on the context. That's how I feel. It depends on what it calls for.
Where does this idea come from? You should jump into somebody else's fight.
And there's a lot of quote-unquote alphas that are in the cemetery and prison. So
That's right.
live to see another
But
day.
wait, but
I've seen so many women get beat, and the government lies to you in order to use you for votes or whatever thing they want from you. And they really I guess because of the reaction of the blacks over the last 70 years or so, they don't believe that the blacks will and are capable of thinking for themselves. They're having a hissy fit right now because many blacks are starting to support the Great White Hope. They're like, what, dog? We thought we had y'all. We focusing on the illegal aliens now. And the blacks are like, well, I don't have any money in my pocket. I don't have a job. What's going on here? MSNBC.com is reporting that Attorney General Merrick Garland's remark sounded like a desperate affirmation to people unimpressed with his work to support voting rights. Watch this from X.
The right to vote is still under attack. And that is why the Justice Department is fighting back. That is why one of the first things I did when I came into office was to double the size of the voting section of the Civil Rights Division. That is why we are challenging efforts by states and jurisdictions to implement discriminatory, burdensome, and unnecessary restrictions on access to the ballot, including those related to mail-in voting, the use of drop boxes, and voter ID requirements. That is why we are working to block the adoption of discriminatory redistricting plans that dilute the vote of black voters and other voters of color.
Amazing. Who invited him to that, look like an African church, I guess? Who invited him there to lie to the blacks like that about voting? Think about that. What was he thinking when he decided, for whatever, I'm going to go to the black, look like an African church, they dress like African, and tell them we got to fight for your right to vote. After all this time, as though black people don't have sense enough to know they can vote if they want, and they don't have to if they don't want. Go down to the poll, just vote. They do that to appease your ego so they can grab you and make you vote for them. And he seemed pretty desperate. Garland did. And there were people sitting there thinking, look like they were thinking, what the? Obama wanted that on the Supreme Court, I'm told. Amazing. Grandpa, tell me about the good old days. When I become president, I'm going to turn back the hands of time. And if you don't own property, you cannot vote. I may still let the women vote. I might. I'm not sure. But if you don't own property, you won't be able to vote because you make it difficult for property owners. You have nothing to lose. Merrick Garland was Obama's last Supreme Court nominee. The Republican never approved him. Nice. Black people, the next time somebody come to your territory or wherever and tell you that you don't have a right to vote and they're going to have to do some more stuff to enhance your voting right and that the Republicans don't want you to vote, give them the finger. Just give them the finger and walk away. Just because they're saying that they think you're dumb and can't think for yourself. Here's what everyday black people think about this idea. Watch this from X.
Do you have ID normally? You carry ID around?
Yes, I have state ID.
Do you carry ID?
Yes, I do.
Do you know any black person who doesn't carry ID?
No. Everyone that I know has an ID. Why would they think we don't have ID?
That's a lie.
Yeah.
Why would they say that?
I have my ID and my friends have their ID. So everybody that I know have ID.
Do you know any black adult who does not have ID?
No, I don't.
I heard a lot also that black people can't figure out how to get to the DMV.
Really?
What does that say to you?
I know it's on 25th Street.
Do you know where the DMV is around you?
It's on 125th Street and 3rd Avenue, I believe.
You know how to get there?
Yeah.
And I also heard a lot that black people, especially poor black people, have no access to the internet, can't figure out how to use the internet.
I had access to the internet for years. It's very, very ignorant.
Does it sound racist for somebody to say that?
I think it is a little racist because, you're putting people in a category and you have no idea what you're talking about.
Maybe a little bit of racist in it, but like I said, I think it's more stupidity and ignorance.
You're judging somebody, but you're judging them because they black, saying that they don't got it.
What people are they talking to? Who are these people talking to?
That's right. It's amazing how they can say that about the blacks and just say it. And in a place like that church, where it appeared to be a church, he can get away with saying it. They say that black people don't know how to get down to the DMV to get an ID. They can vote for the Democrats, but they can't find their way to the DMV to get an ID. So we got to pass a law to make sure that the blacks be able to vote, whether they have an ID or not. That's coming from black and white people, especially liberals, and especially Democrats. And it's not racism, they hate you. It's not love. And if there's no love, it's only hate. And they don't care about you, they just stroking your ego to make you vote for them. Isn't that amazing? And a lot of those black people, yeah, but that's the dark world that we live in. That's the Old Testament. And that's how he would be treat each other. It's just another example of it. There is no love. There's only hate in the Old Testament. Whether you realize it or not, you're living in the Old Testament and you have not entered into the new one within. And that's why you're still suffering. That's why you're still suffering. Here's what everyday white people think about this idea. Watch this from TikTok.
Opinion on voter ID laws?
Yeah, they're usually pretty racist. I think voter ID laws are a way to perpetuate racism.
Would you go as far as to say those laws are racist?
For sure.
Do you think it suppresses the African American vote?
Definitely. Because they're less likely to have state IDs.
These type of people don't live in areas with easy access to DMVs or other places where they can get identification.
Do you think that's harder for black people to go online?
Well, I feel like they don't have the knowledge of how it works.
Black people, you're allowing that to be out there, that image, which is not true. You know how to vote. You know how to get an ID. But because you let the Democrats treat you that way, that's what these young people think. And they feel sorry for you. And anyone that feels sorry for you hates you. It's not about racism. It's about love or hate. You can't be a both. You can only have one. Which one are you? Which one are you? Are you of love or are you of hate? Just in case you're wondering, if you have anger, any iota of anger, a little bit, you have hate. And they call it racism, but it's not racism, it's hate. Anyone that has anger is of hate. They have no love. Zero love. Ain't no love in you. You're pure evil and pure nasty and have fear. You're overwhelmed with fear. I don't want to hear that you don't have fear. You do have fear. Anyone that has anger has fear. Anyone that has fear has anger. It's a spiritual battle. If you don't know what you're talking about, why don't you just be quiet? There's nothing wrong with being quiet. You know what I mean? Be quiet and know. You don't have to say anything. There's no rule that says you have to say anything. Say something, I'm giving up on you. Say something. If you don't know what to say, stop talking. This is for bad friends. Bobby Lee gets a lesson on the history of slavery in Korea. Watch this from Bad Friends.
But some societies, like Koreans, they might have a God complex, but they don't have a history of oppressing another group of people.
Each other, right?
Are you out of your mind?
What the?
What do you mean?
You don't think Asians they didn't oppress?
Koreans didn't have slaves. We didn't fly.
Did Koreans have slaves?
Yeah, Google that.
Yeah, because I think that's.
We were kidding
Korea
about
had
the Korean.
longest unbroken chain of slavery of any society in history, spanning 1,500 years.
That's not what it says. Zoom it in. My eyes are blurry.
Go
Zoom
back,
it in. Go
Carlos.
back. I want to read it. All right.
Read it out loud, you piece of shit.
Get close. All right. Korea had the longest unbroken chain of slavery of any society in history. Fuck, bro. Holy.
Socialism is about controlling you. About controlling you. They want to control the people. That's what socialism is all about. You can't control a free person. You have to enslave them with anger in order to control them. It's going to get worse, and I want to give you at least 2 examples of how it's going to get worse. Everybody know about this now, but just a reminder. ABC is reporting that a suspected intruder was arrested early Sunday morning after a break-in at the home of Los Angeles Mayor Karen Bass, according to the police. Watch this from Fox.
House here on South Irving Boulevard just before 7 o'clock this morning. Skyfox overhead again this afternoon as the mayor got out of a black SUV carrying a couple of bags. You can see she was flanked by several members of her team. She walks through the driveway's gates, then across the courtyard area of the property. It looks like someone comforts her briefly before she walks inside the home. Now, you may remember Bass's home in Baldwin Vista was broken into back in September of 2022. She was still a congresswoman at that time. She was campaigning for her current role as mayor.
Karen Bass, the mayor of Los Angeles, what a mess, right? I debated her before. A mess. She loved the homeless, remember? So I'm wondering, is she okay that they broke into her home, according to reports? That she loved the house. She loved the unhoused. She loved the homeless. She tried to raise more money for them because that millions of dollars that they've already spent for the homeless people, they were only able to get 255 or something like that out of the 4,000 or something. But her house is bigger than Trump's. Where she live? And she black. I thought racism was holding the blacks back. Her house bigger than Trump, the Great White Hope house. It's bigger than Mar-a-Lago, it seems. They call Mar-a-Lago? Mar-a-Lago. What?
Mar-a-Lago.
Mar-a-Lago. And she black. How she get away from the white people? The white superior. White supremacy, they call the white folks. Because they believe white people are superior to them. According to Fox, here's what Kevin Dalton, who fled California for Idaho, not Navajo, but Idaho. He fled California for Idaho, joining Fox and Friends to discuss his reaction to the second break-in of Karen Bass, right? Watch this from Fox.
Crime doesn't really hit you until it actually impacts you personally. I'm curious what prompted your move out of Los Angeles.
Well, it was watching Los Angeles deteriorate over the past 2 decades. There was no usable parks. There's no schools that are safe. There was no reason to continue to try to work so hard to give my son a great life in California. And we couldn't use parks. We had a gigantic park 2 blocks from our house that we could never step foot in because it was taken over by homeless people. And now you have a mayor who's constantly telling you crime is down. Well, this is the second time your house has been broken into. You tell us homelessness is getting taken care of, except we see the numbers and it's just thousands of people dying. Oh, try calling 911 for anything less than literally having a knife sticking out of your chest, and the LAPD is never going to show up. And it's not their fault. They are so overwhelmed with violent crime that if your house is broken into, if it's a property crime, good luck with them showing up.
That's amazing. I never imagined. I moved out here in 68, and I never imagined that, 1968, I never imagined that. When I walked off the plane at 18 years old, I literally thought I walked into paradise. Beautiful palm trees, clean city. I never imagined it could get to this. I now understand human nature. Human nature is evil. All human nature is evil. Human beings are evil, right? So I understand now, but I never imagined that human being would deliberately take something so beautiful and do this to it, turn it into garbage for their own personal gain. Well, lo and behold, according to NBC, a JetBlue flight nearly collided. Nearly collided with a Southwest airline plane at Washington, D.C.'s Reagan National Airport on Thursday. The latest close call to unfold at a U.S. airport. Watch this from live ATC Net.
7 Taxi Alpha.
Southwest 2937, Washington ground, give way to the American Airbus left to right, runway 1. Taxi via Kilo Charlie, cross forward Charlie, pull over to the right, tower on the other side.
All right, after American, going to 1, Kilo Charlie, cleared cross forward, let's to the right, Southwest 2937.
Blue Street 5226, left turn at November behind the Embraer, ground point 7.
Left turn November behind the Embraer, ground point 7, Blue Street 5226.
Stop. Southwest 2937, stop.
We stopped, we were cleared to cross runway 4.
And we stopped at Blue 1664.
Wow, look how close it was. No, I'm sorry, baby, that's the wrong way. I thought that was south. No, baby, go that way. You go down, hold on. Lord have mercy. Jesus. You ain't seen nothing yet if this continues. In the same way, you haven't seen nothing yet if you allow people to say death to America. I want my country back. My country is no longer tears of thee. No, baby, that's the wrong way. Lord have mercy. I don't know how to read this here bold. I was looking out the window. I ain't seen no airplane coming. Hold on, Southwest. Hold on. Wait. JetBlue, don't go. Oh, Lord, don't go. Wait, Southwest. And not only is that going to get worse, somebody need to do something before we have a serious situation. You know what I mean? Can't you see it coming? There's a cloud or storm coming. Let's go home. A storm is coming. Let's go home. And they're pushing everything that's wrong and not true. And they're not telling you anything that they've done good for this country in the last 4 years. Nothing. Zero. Isn't that amazing? Not one darn thing. They're even pushing something called climate change. something that they're not in control of, ain't going to never be in control of. Only God is in control of the climate. Winter, spring, summer, and fall. All you got to do is call, and I'll be there. God is in climate, in control of that. He's already set that in motion. And they can't do anything about it. It's dumb to even think that. But they know that the people don't want to think for themselves today. They know that whatever you throw out there, most people are going to go for it, especially if it requires no thinking. If it requires no thinking. You tell people to think for yourself, you're creating an enemy. You tell people don't think for yourself, that's the one they'll think for you, you have a friend. Fake friend, but a friend. So they're trying to tell you that the climate is coming to get you. And a lot of people believe it. That's what's so weird about it. But I understand it. You're blind and cannot see. Biden, this is from Fox. Biden commemorated Earth Day by telling a crowd in Virginia that anyone who denies the impact of climate change is condemning the American people to a very dangerous future. Watch this from Fox Business.
The White House telling Fox Business it's now considering declaring a national climate emergency.
Joe Biden declares a national climate emergency. He would have COVID-like powers under that emergency, and they also compared the emergency powers to the 9/11 emergency powers. The Center for Biological Diversity has estimated Joe Biden would get about 130 wartime-like powers by which to bypass democracy and impose a Green New Deal on America without a single vote of Congress. And he might just be desperate enough to do it. This is being widely reported in the media. The Biden White House is leaking this out. This might happen, and this is going to give Joe Biden, these kind of, you want to say the word dictatorial powers. He doesn't need no stinking democracy to impose the Green New Deal if he does this.
Can you imagine that? They are trying to get control over you with this fake word, climate change. It's okay to question things. You don't have to be a yes man. You don't have to be a yes woman. Question things, folks. It's okay. It's just human beings, and human beings are evil anyway. Human beings are evil beyond the words I can possibly tell you, and you're trusting evil human beings. Biden has no idea what he's doing. Here's an example of that from Fox. Biden seemed to suffer a verbal slip-up during a speech at a trade union conference in Washington, D.C. on Wednesday. Watch this from X.
Imagine what we can do next. 4 more years. Pause. 4 more years. 4 more years. 4 more years.
So he's reading the teleprompter there, and he's on the teleprompter. It says 4 more years, and then it's telling him to pause. Don't say pause out loud. The teleprompter is telling you what to do. The teleprompter is telling you what to do. It's not telling you to say pause. 4 more years, pause. You ain't supposed to read pause out loud. And you think Biden came up with this idea about climate change? Just think about this. Now I got even more proof that even your own family members don't love you. Be not deceived. Your family members don't love you. Look at Biden family, 4 more years, pause. They know that's not good for their fathers. That woman, his wife, knows that's not good for her husband. They don't care. Some of you may have heard of this from CBS. A pro-Palestine protest. And this is like right down the road. What the? My office is between USC and UCLA. It's almost like in the middle of it. We had Los Angeles and Pico, right? And so this is right down the road, folks. I'm like, what? And this is in the hood. This is from CBS. A pro-Palestine protest at the University of Southern California Alumni Park that started Wednesday morning grew in size and intensity by the afternoon after campus police confronted the crowd and ordered the dismantle of the encampment. It ultimately led to USC officials to close the campus until further notice. When you see this, I want you to be aware. This is happening in America. This is not over in Allah Abba country. This is not over in Israel. It's not over in Ukraine. It's not even in Russia or China. It is here in America. Watch this from CBS.
Well, right now, the protest is mostly peaceful. That's actually how it started a couple of hours ago. When we arrived, students were putting down their blankets here at Alumni Park. They were also starting to put up their tents. They were very clear in what they wanted: peace in the Middle East. And then maybe 30, 40 minutes into this protest, officers arrived. They started to come in with their police vehicles. I mean, immediately they want USCs to cut all ties that have to do with funding anything that has to do with this war against Gaza. Immediately, that's what they said.
The nerve, the audacity, the gall to tell USC or any university, I want you to stop funding or accepted funding from Israel or anybody that support Israel. Can you imagine? Empty-head people with anger has no idea what's going on, telling another school who they can and cannot accept money from. In not even their country. Do you see Joe Biden and this administration doing anything about it? Zero. And he got you thinking about climate change. How about the country change? He's out there talking about stupid climate change while America is being destroyed by the enemies of America. They should send them the army in there with big army trucks, handcuff these people, put them on the trucks, take them to the nearest airport, and ship them all the way back to wherever they came from and forbid them from ever coming again. I bet you some of them came across the borders illegally. This is in America, and it's gonna get worse. And believe me, they have no idea what they're doing. They're just angry young people, group thinking, who are refusing to be individuals. Anger is evil. Anger is evil. Anger is evil. Here's an example of these people not having any clue of what's going on from InfoWar. Generation Z student who were interviewed wouldn't explain why they were attending a pro-Gaza demonstration at New York University. Watch this from X.
And what would you say is the main goal with tonight's protest?
I think the goal is just showing our support for Palestine and demanding that NYU stops. I honestly don't know all of what NYU's doing.
Is there something that NYU's doing?
I really don't know. I'm pretty sure they're... Do you know what NYU's doing? About what? About Israel. Why are we protesting here?
Palestine will be free!
I wish I was more educated. I'm not either.
Oh.
I came from Columbia. I was there up at Columbia, and we came down. They said NYU students needed our support. So I came down. I heard there's lots of cops. Some people were saying it was getting dangerous.
See, they don't even know why they're there. She came from Columbia. Why not ship her back to Columbia? Yeah, I know she means Columbia University, but we need to ship her back to Columbia. They don't. Neither one of them know why they're even there. They just heard something was happening, and they came down to support. Well, this one girl said she was over at Columbia and she heard that they needed support down at New York University, one of those universities, and she went up, but she has no idea why. And she asked the other girl, "Why are we here?" And I said, she's like, "I don't know. I haven't been really educated while I'm there. They're just there to support Gaza." That's what they said. They told them to come and they went. Not knowing they were going against their own country. Death to America. What do you think that means? And yet they continue to yell and scream. Watch this from Fox.
Don't touch them! Don't touch them! Don't touch them! Knock it off! Knock it off!
This is in America. This is not over there. Look at that. Wow.
There is only one solution! There is only one solution! Intifada revolution! Intifada revolution!
Amazing. Look, this is not a joke, folks. This is not a joke. These people hate you. They hate Christians and they hate Jews. So to all you little Christians who are happy to see that these people are going after the Jews, and because you hate the Jews because you're losers, they hate you too. Anyone, whether it's a Christian or Jew or Gentile or so-called professor or whatever color they might be, male or female, anyone that tells you that anger is good is drawing you into hell. Anger is never good. And they are told that they should be angry. MSNBC has reported Professor and author Scott Galloway says young people have every reason to be enraged. Watch this from MSNBC.
For the first time in our nation's history, a 30-year-old man or woman isn't doing as well as his or her parents were at 30. That is the social compact breaking down. People aged 30 to 34, 60% of them in 1990 had one child. Now it's 27%. People are opting out of America. They're not optimistic about it. They're not having kids. So we have a real issue. Young people are enraged. So it turns every cut, every movement into an opportunistic infection because, quite frankly, they are just pissed off. They look up, they see wealth, exceptional wealth across my generation and people in certain industries, and they are really struggling. Young people have every reason to be enraged, and every issue they see, they look up, they get angry, and they see someone doing better than them, and then every day it is speedballed in their face that they are failing, that they are not doing as well as everyone around them. We have lost the script. Our kids are more anxious and more depressed and more obese and more addicted. And we have made a purposeful decision to let this happen by ensuring the people around this table stay wealthy at the cost of young people.
That is one of the sons of Satan. That's not your friend, folks. He's trying to sell books. He doesn't care about you. Anyone that tells you it's okay to be enraged, what good is that doing you? It's not putting any more money in your pocket. It's not giving you peace within. It's not changing your life for the good. What good is it doing you to be enraged, to be angry? Just think, you're already angry. How's that helping you? Look at the people who have money, who own homes, who own businesses, who run in the government, and just regular folks too. They have anger, and they own what they want. They're still miserable. They committed suicide. This so-called Scott Galloway is lying to you. He doesn't care about you at all. He wants to sell a book. And believe me, they are angry. Watch this from TikTok.
Oh, because you, America, for making me pay, or for making me work 4 jobs, 4 jobs, while I'm in college in rural Tennessee, and I can barely pay my own rent, and I'm taking 19 credit hours on top of those 4 jobs, and I still can't graduate on time, and I still can't graduate early, even though I'm taking 21 credit hours next semester. It's not fair. It's not fair anymore. It's never been fair, not in my lifetime. And will it ever be fair? No, because I'm a woman in America. Oh my God.
We go somewhere else.
I just want to live in peace, America. And I will one day. Probably somewhere else. Anyways, look how cute my nails are.
What an angry, emotional, thrill-seeking bitch. That's all it is. You just saw a thrill-seeking, emotional bitch. That's why she went on camera and did that. It's all for the thrill of it. She's evil. She set up the camera, she put it there on the dashboard, wherever it was in her car, and she got thrills from that. And when people comment on it, she loved it. You have no idea the depths of misery you're bringing upon yourself. Isn't that amazing? You really don't know. But every Thursday, because the Bible thumpers are difficult to communicate with, we decided, well, we'll have Thursday for Bible Thumper Day so that I can communicate with the Bible thumper a little longer, because all they do is thump the Bible. And they're like, they don't even hear your response to them. They're ready with another scripture. What the? So it is Thursday, and it is Bible Thumper Thursday.
I know I'm supposed to go to my seat now, but my mama's a 10-year cancer survivor, and she's standing right there. Wave your hand, mama.
Somebody beside you don't understand your praise.
Mama
But I
don't
want you to
like
grab somebody around you that don't mind dancing, and I want you to hit the floor right now.
Go, mama.
Come on in here.
Jesus saw Zacchaeus and he levels the playing field. Jesus institutes an affirmative action program.
Don't y'all let mama dance by herself.
Yeah, don't let mama dance. What the?
Talk about Jesus.
Hallelujah.
That's too loud.
Okay, sorry.
Do it nicely.
Oh, yes. Hallelujah.
What the? Nice. I hadn't seen that. Thank you, Uncle Baby. What the? Shut your mouth.
Amazing.
That's right. Shut your mouth. You're overwhelmed with fear. And you run away from it by joining groups, getting involved, being busy, getting degrees. You're trying to get married, making children. You're trying to run away from your fear. And all you're doing is running into them, deeper into them. What manner of man is this? The wind and sea obey him. They have been trying to do his enemy. I don't know what the outcome is going to be, so I'm talking about what is now, what has happened and what is still happening now with the great white hope, Donald Trump. Have you asked yourself, what manner of man is this? The wind and sea obey him. They can't stop him so far. And they are fascinated by him, thrilled up and all over the place. And they're celebrating evil. Look how Donald Trump is dealing with the issues in his life. So why don't you deal with the little issues in your life so that when the big storm issues come, you'll be ready to deal with it. This is from Hannity. The media is giddy over the lawfare being waged against Donald Trump. Joy Reid celebrated the diverse background of the prosecutors targeting Trump. Watch this from MSNBC.
For me, there is something wonderfully poetic about the fact that despite the fact that even if convicted, he's not going to go to prison, the first person to actually criminally prosecute Donald Trump is a black Harvard grad, the very kind of person that his former staff, the people who worked for him, Stephen Miller, et cetera, want to never be at Harvard Law School. But he was. And he came out and graduated, and he's prosecuting you, Donald. And a black woman is doing that same exact thing in Georgia. And a black woman forced you to pay a $175 million fine that's out now also in question because the people who put it up, that might not be legit. Donald Trump is being held to account by the very multicultural, multiracial democracy that he's trying to dismantle. And for me, there's something poetic and actually wonderful about that. It says something good about our country that we're still capable of having that happen. Go DEI. My DEIs are bringing it home on today.
She's so thrilled about Donald Trump, she went and bought his hair, becoming like what she hates. She bought his hair. Ain't no black woman that black have ever been to wear a Donald Trump wig. But she's thrilled about him. I guess that's a wig. It looks like a wig. She hate Donald Trump. Isn't that amazing? What manner of man is this? The wind and sea obey him. She's obsessed with Trump. Watch this from MSNBC. This is mind-blowing.
And Timothy Hayfie, former lead investigator for the House January 6th Select Committee. I forgot my copy of my book. I always bring the Trump indictments book everywhere I go. I take it around like Trump takes his pretend Bible that he wrote over to.
She even have a book, keep the details on the Great White Hope. Why does she, if she didn't love him, hate him, why does she walk away? She can't. When you hate someone, you're stuck. You spend your whole lifetime trying to destroy that person or people, and you're destroying yourself. They're moving on with their life. Donald Trump is living his life. And this woman, Joy Reid, is obsessed. She even write notes. Can't you see her like a crazy person writing notes about him? He's just making the best of the situation. He's living his life, dealing with his issues. None of those things are happening to you or me or Joy Reid. They're happening to Trump. That's his situation, and he's dealing with it. New York Times has reported Donald Trump visited a bodega in Harlem where a clerk stabbed a man in 2022 and was charged by Alvin Bragg, another black hater, watching from Fox. Does he look bothered?
Former President Donald Trump making a campaign stop in Harlem following day 2 of his hush money trial. 7 jurors were sworn in on Tuesday, including an English teacher, an oncology nurse, and 2 lawyers. Trump answering my question about the jurors sworn in so far.
How do you feel about the 7 jurors that were selected today?
I'll let you know in about 2 months.
Trump's lawyers and prosecutors grilled the jury pool about their political views, social media posts, where they get their news, and their personal lives. One female juror had posted a dance celebration after Trump lost the 2020 election. On Tuesday, he used a Harlem bodega as a backdrop to slam Manhattan District Attorney Alvin Bragg for being what he calls soft on crimes that matter. 2 years ago, Bragg charged a bodega clerk here with murder and sent him to Rikers after he killed a man who attacked him behind the counter. The case grabbed national headlines, and within days, Bragg dropped the charges.
I love you, Trump! I love you, Trump! I love you, Trump! We love 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 Trump!
Amazing. Bless those that curse you. Really. meaning don't hate those who hate you. They can't, really, they know not what they do. It's not them. Their hearts are wicked. It's evil, and that evil is controlling them, and they think that it's them. They're living in their imagination, and their father, the devil, is telling them to go after you. Joy Reid is deeply into her imagination. And people like that hate Trump. Why don't you watch and observe? All you have to do is watch. What manner of man is this? What manner of man is this? The wind as he obey him. Watch this from Fox. Jesse Watters, primetime, ask New Yorkers about the Trump hush money trial. Watch this from Fox. He's the one that set his life on Calvary. He's the one that died for you and me.
Do you recognize this man?
Brings a smile to my face every time. Yes, I do recognize that man.
That's the man. He helped out the black people.
He's going to be the president again. It's Donald Trump.
President.
I never attacked him on his look, and believe me, there's plenty of subject matter right there.
What's your opinion of Donald Trump?
Donald Trump speaks the truth.
I like him. I think he's a character. He's a misogynist pig and a liar.
Trump rhymes with dumb?
I'm jacking Trump. I'm jacking Trump.
You're jacking him?
Yeah, I'm jacking him. That means, like, you know, I with Trump.
I thought that meant something else.
Nah, hell no.
I like that. Johnny, ho, ho.
Donald Trump is on trial in Manhattan.
Child, come and see me. Come and see me.
Finally?
That trial, bro. We need him back in the office, bro.
Oh, I did not know that.
Amazing. What manner of man is this? The wind and sea obey him. You want the wind and sea to obey you? Overcome evil. Forgive. But I remember growing up, and it was an embarrassment to make children out of wedlock. It was an embarrassment for the man to make a child, or for the woman to get pregnant and have a child. And if that did happen, because it happens sometimes, the mother, the parents, the father and the mother would send you away. They'll send you from Alabama to up to Indiana. And they're like, where is she? Oh, she out of town for a minute. And 9 months later, she come back and a baby in her arm. You're like, what the? I remember when I first started dating at 15, one of my greatest fears was to get her pregnant. Because I didn't want a shotgun wedding. I wasn't ready for marriage. So I was careful not to do that early. It was an embarrassment. I hardly knew black women or even white women who were having babies out of wedlock. There is a documentary from 1982 that focuses on what happens when women decide to make babies out of wedlock. This is from way back archives. A documentary called 1982 Special Report, Single Mothers. This documentary dives into the reasons behind the growing number of single women choosing to have children and examining the impact of their decision. Reporter Donna Martin visit 5 women from diverse backgrounds in the Baltimore/Washington metropolitan area, all of whom made the decision to become a single mother. These women openly discuss the economy and emotional realities of having a child alone. So what we're going to do is kind of long. So we're just going to pay. We're going through these clips throughout the whole show. All right, throughout today, all 3 hours. I'm not playing them all in 1 hour. I want to take your calls. It's Open Line Friday. Read your super chats and all that. So we're going to go through these sound bites through the whole 3 hours. Here's the first sound bite from Frida and Tony. Single mother used to be unheard of. This is from way back archives. Watch this.
More unmarried women are joining the ranks of single parents. They admit it's tough, but they are also confident they can do as good a job of parenting as many married couples. Of the 60,000 babies born in Maryland in 1980, almost 26% were to unwed mothers, compared to a 17% national average.
17 years ago, the attitude of society is not the same as society's attitude today. It is very difficult to be, or it was very difficult to be a single parent 15 years ago. It just wasn't acceptable behavior. It was just definitely a no-no.
Yeah, remember when black women, it was a no-no for black women to have children out of wedlock? And I like this because I want black Americans to know that at one time in the history of America, black people had character. They really did. They weren't blaming others. They were in charge of their own lives. It used to be a no-no to have children out of wedlock. Now these black women dropping babies like nothing going on and don't even care. And twerking over it. Whatever that is. But it was a no-no. And I'm also, in listening to this woman, it's interesting how Satan made women make the wrong decisions. And they think that it's their own decision and it's all for themselves. It has nothing to do with the baby. They want to have a baby to make themselves feel good. Their egos. Isn't that amazing? And they think it's their decision. Because the hell comes through the woman and she doesn't know she is serving evil. She just doesn't know. Some women are waking up to it now, but she doesn't know. So the spirit of the mother come down through the generations. Watch this from way back.
For Frida, balancing childcare with an education and a career began when she was still in college. Although society's attitude didn't matter to Frida, her mother's opinion did.
Like I said, my concern was, how is she going to feel about me? I mean, is she going to think that I'm not a very nice person? Is she going to think that I'm a very promiscuous person? Is she going to think that my morals are loose? All of those things concern you because you do want your parents to be proud of you. And she was disappointed, and as I indicated, she let me know that she was disappointed. But after she got over being angry or frustrated or whatever emotion she was feeling at the time, she sat down and said, okay, what are we going to do?
Tony's father was never involved in his upbringing. The subject is a sensitive one with Frida.
I had very little contact with Tony's father, and I really don't want to get into that part of it. It was a decision that I made. I made the decision not really considering his position concerning the situation, and he just didn't play a role, not at all, and he still doesn't. I don't think that Tony has suffered or has been denied anything because he is the child of a single parent.
That's a lie. That's evil. That is evil, and that's a lie. He is suffering. But see, got her mind. She thinks she's making those decisions. The worst thing, of all the worst things that can happen to children of all races, male and female, boys and girls, is to not have a father, to be turned away from their fathers. They spend a lifetime yearning for their fathers. Material things not going to solve that. Bringing a fake father into their life not going to solve that. Having uncles and cousins, male cousins, are not going to solve that. Anyway, because it's spiritual. And you have to connect with your earthly father spiritually. So I understand she can't see mothers set their children up to suffer the whole lifetime. And a lot of them don't realize it. Some of them do. So let's hear what Tony has to say. This woman's son. This is from way back archives as well.
Well, I think about my father often knowing
But it really doesn't matter because my mother's there. I feel she'll always be there. And he hasn't given me anything for 17 years, and what could he possibly give me now?
She insists that Tony's uncle and other relatives and friends have been good substitute fathers for her son. She says she has always been able to fulfill most of Tony's emotional needs. In return, he has had to learn that his mother's career is important to her, as is her need for space and privacy. He was expected to take care of himself and share housekeeping responsibilities at an early age. Both mother and son say their relationship is a close one.
Well, my relationship with my mother I had the highest respect for because I know that she had it hard. Because I know I'm not easy to get along with. And we're just alike. And we both, and since we're both alike, it's like she always says it's like looking at herself in the mirror.
Yeah. She has recreated him in her image. She's raising a girl. And he thinks about his father a lot because every human being's soul yearns for the father. And there's nothing that woman or anyone or uncle, nobody can do to satisfy that yearning unless he or she return to the father. It's spiritual. And he's just like his mother. When she look at him, she's looking at herself. So you have two females fighting. Poor guy, right? The devil is busy. He works through the woman to destroy the children of God by turning them away from their fathers. That yearning, that emptiness, that thinking about your father all the time while growing up and even after you get older is a yearning for the father. It's in you. You can't help it. It's a return to the father. It's not about getting married. It's not about having children. It's not about having money. It's a yearning, but the devil, it's a yearning for the father, and the devil tell you, oh, if you got married, you'll be fine. No, you won't. You're in your prison, the prison of your imagination, going around in circles, and the devil and his little demons are making all kind of suggestions for you, and they're all wrong. And then you go and pay some expert stupid money for years, and they tell you all wrong information. And then they put you on medication, and they send you home. You can overcome, but you got to work on you. You must forgive and return to the Father. Nothing is going to fulfill that void. No drugs, no nothing. No drag queen, no nothing. It's a spiritual thing. Amazing video, though. It's what's happening right now and forever and ever. Amen. So I'm going to go to, here's Karen and Jonathan. Karen was sloppy with her birth control because she wanted to be a mother. Watch this from way back. Archives.
Karen works 6 days a week as a nurse, and she is the mother of 2-year-old Jonathan. When she first found out she was pregnant, she told her family and friends it was an accident. She admits now she was sloppy with birth control because she wanted a baby.
I always wanted to be a parent because I thought raising a child was a very important part of life. I did not grow up wanting to be a single parent, but there were no prospects of marriage, and I was getting older. And in my 20s, I had put 35 as a cutoff date because I didn't want to be 40 years old and having my first child. To me, having a child was more important than being married.
She listened to the devil. He made her think that. Really, those ideas came from, it's like the ideas come to men now. They want, oh, I need to get a wife. I need to be married with a family. Those ideas are from the devil. They're not true. They're just not true. This woman got the same ideas from the same devil. Karen talked about her anger toward her own mother. Watch this.
This baby, he looked exactly the way he was only 6 pounds. I don't like real big babies. He had hair. I don't like bald babies. So he was exactly what I had pictured if I could have said what I wanted. He was beautiful in the hospital, never cried. I thought, oh, it's all coming true. I got home, I walked in the door, and he started. And of course, I had my mother telling me what to do, and an aunt who's raised 7, my sister who has none. I thought, my God, what have I done? What have I done?
You listen to
I really
the
am
devil.
angry at my mother for not really telling me what it was really like. She made it look so easy that that's the way I thought it was going to be. And it wasn't, and it isn't. It's hard.
And it wasn't easy for your mother either. She listened to the devil. The devil gave her those ideas. I promise you that. Oh, have a baby. The devil tells men and women, oh, the next step is to get married. And you walk right into more hell. And Karen goes on to talk to say that she didn't want her father in the child's life. She didn't want his father in the child's life. Watch this from way back.
Karen didn't want Jonathan's father to be part of their lives. She's proud she can support herself and her son, though she works overtime to do it. She does get
That's
help from
evil.
her family, which makes it easier to cope.
He's got a lot of role models. I've got a father, 2 brothers, and a brother-in-law, and that are the male role models, and he's got an aunt who he loves almost as much as me. And they're all different. They all give different things to him. They all offer something different. And they're starting to have more and more to do with him as he gets older and they can communicate with him. So I haven't for one time, and since I've had the baby, have I felt bad that he does not have a father. I have never had any guilt about that at all. People have told me that I should, and but I don't.
She's too evil to have guilt. Her father, role models can never take the place of a real father. Boys and girls, men and women, yearn for their real father, and no imitation is going to change that. Except they look like a clown. No imitation. What a dummy. No one can take that. You can't replace a father with nothing. In the soul of human beings, they yearn for the father. They return to the father. The mother turned them away, and they yearn to turn back. That's what's missing. But the devil tell you, oh, no matter, get a role model. Or the devil tell you that a stepfather or stepmother would do it. The devil tell you, oh, get married and have a family, you'll be happy. And you believe the lie and you get right into deeper into hell. Now you screwed up, the wife screwed up, and the kids. It's a spiritual battle. It's about a return to the Father. So what's happening in New York, you ask? New York Post, an airplane passenger took flying saucer speculation to a new height. You heard that there are more, you start to hear more and more about flying saucers, right? I saw some when Tucker was on Fox News. He showed a few as well, where the pilot was saying they had seen flying saucer. Well, a passenger, according to the New York Post, an airline passenger took flying saucer speculation to a new height when she spotted a possible UFO soaring above the Big Apple. Watch this from News Nation.
Michelle Reyes was flying over New York City with her daughter, and she was sitting by a window. When she did what a lot of us do, we, take pictures out the window, nice video of the New York skyline. It's an amazing view. But what Michelle did not expect to see was a cylinder-shaped object zipping across her line of sight near LaGuardia Airport. Was it a bug inside the plane, maybe? Well, she played the video back to look, and no, it was not a bug. Whatever it was definitely outside the plane, and it was flying on its own, and it was really, really fast.
Yes, I had posted the video onto my social media, and one of the other moms on the flight, she said that she had noticed it when she was in the air too. So I wasn't the only one who saw it. So it was kind of a little more like nerve-wracking that someone else also saw what I saw.
Maybe it was a Chinese spy plane. You think spy saucer? I wonder, are there really flying saucers out there? UFOs? Wake up. No more sleeping in bed. This is the best soundbite ever from the New York Post. And I'm trying to wake you up because I don't want you to miss it. Because it is the best soundbite ever. Ever. From the New York Post. A New York City construction worker delivered a piercing message to Biden Thursday morning after Donald Trump, what manner of man is this? They just said that, but I'm saying that. After Donald Trump made a surprise visit to Manhattan work site. Watch this from Newsmax.
What's it like seeing so many Republicans in Manhattan, so many Trump supporters in Manhattan? Does that surprise you?
No, not at all. It's turning now. Trump's turn again.
What's your message to Joe Biden?
F*** you.
The best ever. It doesn't get any better than that. That was from Newsmax, not Newsmax. You black.